my baby girl supporting me over here as well. And we're just trying to get live to Facebook as well so that we can basically connect everybody as well. So this is so we have 12 days left. Uh, that should do it. Okay. Good day, everybody. Welcome. Not so sure if Facebook is on. If it's not on, normally that's. However, Goodwill as well. And I said today we will be talking about a few different things exactly. And that would be the. I'm not sure if I should flip this around. Well, just in YouTube, it looks a little bit weird. Let me just see. Yes, my baby girl. Okay, we have a slight issue. Yes. Okay, so I will just leave it like this for YouTubers because I'm currently also streaming on Facebook. So we will see if we can do some editing later on. So welcome everybody. Um, yes, today we are 12 days to go, and we would like to talk a little bit about our team as well and give a heads up as what's going on with the rest of our team. Currently, we have our board one playing in South Africa in the SA Open. So I would also like to go to his game and also view that a little bit and also show you his status, where he is and how he's performing, and give a few pointers on that, and also analyze his game a little bit. Doing these live streams as well. So yeah, let's get straight to it. Just looking for this. All right, I need to move that a little bit away. So currently we have our board one, Dante. I am. Okay, it's a little bit very weird on YouTube because of the invert. The screen is flipped. I am currently using um, OBS Studio, and I'm not using my streaming ID, so it looks weird. But okay, I know Facebook is quite fine. So with Facebook as well. So this is where we are, the South African Open. Let's just make it a little bit bigger so you can see. This is the open section. It started on when did it start? Okay, that's just today's date. Let's look at the tournament details. So yeah, so it's currently around 10 today. It started on the 9th and it's going to end tomorrow. And looking at the players, so our board one is currently ranked four and is joint leader with Daniel and Simpson Michael. So those are the two guys that's playing very, very well with 7.5, 7.5. And I think today's game is game Watu Kobetse. So he's a quite strong player as well. Not just the title, but we definitely know he is quite a challenge. So this is their live game at the moment that we have. I would like to go back a few moves just to go through the game and see how we can catch up to what has happened. So I've seen Dante has been playing e4 a lot these days. That is actually good. But we don't know if this is his final repertoire for the Olympiad as well. But here we go on, right? So quite normal play in the opening. And this is sort of the Berlin. No, that's correct. I'm not custom with most of the chest opening. And then black is going over normal development. I think this is the normal play. Bishop goes to b3. And we will see. Okay, so this is all quite normal. So I think looking at the initial play of how we played this is mostly how we play the Berlin as well. And then I think most of the time across top players, it's just a draw position. If you want to go for a draw, there's some quick draw lines that you can get because it's the most played. But it looks like in a few minutes, things will get a little bit crazy. So closing off over here, I think that's also determination. We will see where we can go from here, but normally this basically limits the game. I think with captures opening lines, that would have been going for a decisive blow, but is trying to keep everything together. We do notice that with white, the development is still not complete with the knight on b1 and the bishop on c1, and that would be a little bit of a problem going forth. So, but let's see how he continues. So black has basically completed his development here, and the only bad thing for black, I would say, would be the knight on the rim. That's the a5 knight, which is basically bad at this point in time. So here comes the knight, also trying to develop. And I think this knight will go f1 to h2, trying to see if we can get somewhere in. And that's basically what happens. All right. So, okay. So I think from here we are out of book already. We are now just seeing how we can now try and attack or try and gain some space, especially for white, because black is just doing fine. Just give me a short moment. Okay, sorry about that. My number one fan is also recording with me. My beautiful sweetheart. Yes, as I've said, black is quite doing fine. I don't think black has any lot of problems except for the pawn storm that will come. Let's see how he goes on. So with h5, okay, that's interesting one. I think it's just trying to stop all the pawn storms before they reach the king, because the bishop is pointing in the right direction, the queen is ready, and the two knights are also ready to pounce on the attack. Okay, so we have an exchange of pawns, and the h file becomes now a contention of play where both kings are quite weak at the moment, and we'll see how the game goes and who tries to take advantage of that. So yeah, black, as I said, the h file is going to be bone of contention. So black already tries to take control of that with the bishop and the queen, ready to come on the diagonal h4 if need be, or an exchanges that needs to be done. And also, I am Dante also tries to see, okay, we need to control some of those squares on the H file. So basically, the game will be now the fight for the H file and the weaknesses between the two kings, which king is going to be weaker, and then maybe decisive game will be there. So, okay, so an interesting move here by Watu. Again, the knight was on the starting square, so getting it out, I can understand the frustration. However, it does leave open the h6 square. The h6 square is open, and depending on how white can exploit that, I think that would easiest thing in my mind would be if I had a rook on h3. So this rook on e1, e3, h3, and then queen here. That could be potentially checkmate or mating trap as well. But we have a problem with our pawn here, so we need to see if we can protect that first and set it up later, or how we're going to go about it as well. So it looks weak, but how do we? It takes a few moves to set up the right attack, and I think here we would have spent some time just trying to figure out how we can go about the attack as well. So Dante decides, yeah, rook e3, swing it over to the h file with check, and queen to h6. That's basically it. So the king moves out of that check, which means it doesn't come with tempo. And instead of h3, we just play rook g3. So I am um, a little bit shocked as to why not just continue with h3 if and then he can't take, or we will take with the bishop takes and then push. I think that should have killed it. Rook h3, like go with the plan. The bishop takes, knight takes, and then we have the h file, and then we can, yeah. I'm still shocked. Maybe didn't see that, or maybe didn't like it. Okay, that's just my view. I don't know if it's still correct. But let's go on. So protect the pawn. That's a little bit passive, and then you can see that the black rook now controls the h file, and this could be a little bit uncomfortable. So f4 was played. F4 was played, and after f4, we can see that white is going for broke. White is going for broke. And excuse me, king safety is now one of the things here. So over here, as I said in the beginning, that black has achieved most of its development. It's done, and the only weakness I could say for black is the black knight on a5, and all the pieces are quite placed, all the moves and playing all the stuff. So that's basically the first problem I noticed, and it will be difficult. White is basically now have to draw instead of the advantage. So capture, and the queen takes here. Um, Okay, so when I saw this move, I thought, okay, so we have now another semi-open file, which is actually good. The F file is semi-open, and we are trying to see if we can have some counters, probably G5, and then put pressure on the F7, which is the weakest square as well. But I don't know how fast we can get there, because I see a rook lift up somewhere, and then the queen and the rook can all start to do a battery on the h file, and then sure, because our rook on h1 is also vulnerable at some point, we can have checkmates coming in at very fast rates as well. So it's a little bit dangerous for white, and yeah, black finds the best move to put place the rook, and which prepares another piece to join him on the h file, and yeah, this is a little bit troublesome. Um, yeah, so we know white pieces weren't actually doing anything, and I feel here is it's trouble. Like you're in a lot of trouble. You're trying your best, but things are not going to work out quite well. So we just see what we can do at this point in time. So I do believe that here and there. So that's basically it. One such tactic is knight to f5, which checks the king, threatening the rook and the king. If pawn takes, uh, we take with the pawn check, and we have a discard on the rook, and then the knight has to block. We take again, and so we are basically not losing anything. So that's one of the tactics I can see. But to avoid that tactics, the bishop can just take, and then everything just falls dead. If the bishop takes, and then uh, we don't know where we go from there. There's another weakness over here at the d4 file. Notice that if the bishop takes, we can't take with the g pawn because there's no check. And after the d4 weakness and the knight comes in, then I don't know. We looks like we're just almost just dead lost here. Right. So Black says, okay, show me what you got. I control the file. So now we have an immediate threat on h2. So we can't go ahead with that tactic that we want to play. So we have to protect the knight some way. And I think here playing rook to f3 allows the queen to basically protect the knight through the diagonal. And then it also helps our cause for controlling the f file, which is actually better. The other bad move would be to play the knight back to f1, where we didn't want to go. We want to go for tactics and attack. And if we play passive now, we will just be crushed on the h file. Rook g2. Okay, rook to 2 is now overprotecting the knight. But I think that the rook could have been much better placed on f3, just so that our attack is also ready to go at any point in time. Okay, but this is also not a bad move. It tries to keep hold or watch over the g4 pawn as well. But here we can basically see, normally you do an assessment on the kings and you say which king is safe. And at the moment, the black king is safe. Like there's nothing, no threats on the black king. The white king is in danger, it's not safe. There are no pawns protecting it, and any checks coming in can be very, very dangerous. And yeah, we see Watu moving away. And you can see now with this knight to e8, if our rook was on f3, f7 would have been a target, right? And we could have done something about f7 now and maybe take. But now, because there's nothing attacking the king, as we said, this knight can probably move away, allows the bishop to come in. I think the plan is to play bishop f6, bishop e5, and then put more pressure on the diagonal on the h2 one. And then, yeah, it's going to be a nightmare. And also with bishop f6, it stops this bishop b2 and c4 move at any point in time, trying to take hold of the diagonal here as well. So that's a very good resource move. Uh, Yeah, so the weakest piece is going to be attacked, and as I've said, that this bishop on c1 was not developed, and yeah, you had to play something as well. But basically, black is controlling the game here very much. The knight just moves away, get the weakest piece out of the way, and it's also almost ready to come and join the attack as well. And I think this is the live position now. So yeah, in this position, I would say that black is doing everything fine. Like seriously, there is nothing very wrong with black at the moment. And this is basically the start of of the road going a little bit south. Um, and we can see, maybe I would suggest that for white, since we said that the f7 is the weakest piece for black at the moment, we can now attack it because the knight is no longer covering that square. So rook a f1, that could be okay, and they just played it as well. Yeah, rook a f1, that's a good move. So we can see that f7 is vulnerable, and yeah, that's the way to go actually. Um, okay, so I would suspect or suggest that Watu still continues with now. There's two possible moves here: knight to d8 and bishop to f6. So knight to d8 is played immediately, just to protect the f7 weaknesses, and now we still have a strong bishop f6, bishop e5. That's basically what black is planning, and then all everything goes down the h file, and the king will feel pressure. I think the bad side of rook f1, it stops the knight f1 to help protect h2, and if we have a bishop on e5, we basically will be ending up losing something, and we want minor pieces to protect minor pieces and not major pieces, and we want the major pieces to attack as well. I would this is very difficult at the moment, but I cannot see it. I don't know. I think Dante might spend a long time here trying to find a move. Um, that's what I would do. So I would go back to the drawing boards and see for if I have anything. Uh, yeah, the two knights actually are doing a very great job keeping watch over all the pawns. Keeping watch over all the pawns, and I don't have any attack anywhere at the moment. Even if I can get rid of one knight for a bishop, that would be good. So playing knight f5 check is basically just a bunk buster, desperate move. I don't see anything else from there. We probably need to reroute our queen. If I had a rook on f4 and a queen on f2, that would be ideal. Then I can at least get the attack going. Um, and I also want to watch the e5 square. Um, so probably knight f3, but then it traps my queen. Ish. Yeah, it's dangerous. It's dangerous. Knight f3, your queen can almost be lost. And we also note that white has an extra square on h3 as well. And yeah, we are in trouble. I'm not kidding, but we can see how we can do. Yeah. So depending on what's gonna be next, we might see I think the few next few moves will be very, very crucial. The good news is we haven't lost anything yet, but I'm talking as from a human's perspective that even though the counter pawns 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, two knights, two bishops, two rooks, queen, queen, king. So only pawns went off the board, 2 pawns from both sides. But just the fact that your king is not safe, like there's pressure on the H diagonal or H file, and the diagonal coming with the bishop on B8, H2 diagonal is going to be affected. So you start to feel like everything is crumbling down. So it depends. If he can keep his nerve and find the best moves, the next three best moves that white can play, I think he can probably turn this around. So yeah, so that's basically it. So you can see the time control on the left for Facebook people, on the right for YouTube people. So they are also a little bit under time pressure. I'm not sure as to what the time controls are. So it's 90 minutes plus 30-second increments per move. So you have 30 seconds. Okay, so I think those 30 seconds are still a lot to play for. So if it comes down to blitzing, somebody will win. So it's basically now crucial time, somebody to make a mistake, and that will be it. Yeah, as I said, this is a critical moment, and yeah, I spoke about knight f3, just trying to keep eye on everything. The drawback of knight f3 is our queen is not safe. The queen is not safe at all, and that can be problematic. That can be very problematic. Yeah. So, but I also understand that knight f3 tries to bring rook h2, try to attack the h file and see if we can at least get something out of that. That's also basically a little bit of a hectic plan. If we can get that going, maybe exchange this rook, which is a very good rook at the moment. Sorry, mommy. Exchange this rook, which is good, for a rook that's basically not doing much, and try to counter or contest again on the h file. That would be awesome. Yeah. So this also gives basically black a thought of, okay, what are you gonna do now? Because the rook is currently under attack. Um, Okay, she's also commenting. So here I thought of what happens after rook h3, because we can see that queen is still not going much, doing much or going anywhere. But yeah, that looks like a good move as well. And we only have rook h1 check, and then we can take the rook off. But that will basically put white into the driving seat, because white's pieces are becoming alive and black is passive. The two knights on d8 and e8 looked nice, defending everything, but they are not attacking anything, and it's actually blocking the a8 rook as well. So yeah, that's a move, and I think Watu is in trouble a little bit here, because you only have that. Your main file that you wanted to contend or fight for is coming under attack, and if you play too passive, very passive, then white will gain the initiative and come in. I think the knights on e3 and f3 are ready to jump in at any moment with checks, counter attacks, and come in. And we also see now a new move, bishop e1, redirect the bishop to e1. That would also be a awesome move. And I think with queen h8, the bishop, dark square bishop, and the queen are no longer coordinated. And she was a little bit behind time. Sorry about that. Let's just sort this one out. There you go. Yeah, so I think this is a nice move, and I think Black was aiming at the h2 knight, and since the knight is no longer there for something to aim at, it basically flips the whole game. Because what now you ask the question, like, what is your rook actually doing there? It's not doing anything, and I think you have only three choices at this point in time: rook h7, rook h3, rook h1. Rook h1 check, two takes, and then what's your next move after that? The next move would be develop again. So you need a rook somewhere in here. So yeah, I think that was basically it. Of putting the bishop on e5, but it came at a cost. It's too slow. It blocked off the rook on a, and the other, as well as the f7 pawn that was weak. Again, you had to block with another knight, and then that was it. That's why I said that it was probably better to play bishop f5 first. Because he couldn't play g5 because of the rook was attacking the queen, and maybe thereafter play the other move. Bishop f5, push the pawn, and then play the knight or something like that, and then just try to get an attack going. However, this is, yeah, it's also a very deep thought. But I think it's best to simplify now. But do you want to simplify? This is how the psychologically chess is. You have an advantage on the h file, and then somebody plays a move, and then you have to decide: do you give it up, or are you stingy? Do you want to hold on to it? And if you're holding on to it, will it cost you at a later stage more than actually just giving it up? Or is the decision now, how do we give it up, basically? Yeah, I think it should have been a little bit, we needed one more rook here just to solidify everything. And I also don't agree with giving up the rook for the knight. But I think this move is basically saying we give up. But I also mentioned that the queen is a little bit trapped here, but I think it's too slow. It's not gonna do anything. It's not gonna do anything. Yeah. So that's analysis for today. I think that's about 30 minutes. I will keep posting videos as well. So analyzing is also part how we look at how my thought process goes on. And as you see, these are two IMs playing, so we can get quite good quality chess. Yeah, that's the way to go. And I hope he wins this one as well, because it looks like he turned it around now. If he wins this one, yeah, he can get into the lead quite fast as well. So that is basically how it is. Good luck to Dante and all the fans. Keep following us. We will discuss our teams tomorrow as well. Okay. Hashtag follow me to India. That would be the end of our streams. Thank you, guys.